Hi, my name is Joe, and today I thought we'd take a look at recording and virtual sound check on the Waves Soundgrid system. If you have seen the video I did a few years ago, just forget everything about that. That was then, now is now. This is how I do things today. All right, so let's start with the computer. I have had more success using PC than Macs. That said, all of my PCs are out on tour. I have a Mac Air M4. This will do the job just fine. So the first thing is to download the ASIO driver from Waves Central. So let's go to Waves Central and make sure that we download the latest version of Soundgrid ASIO Core Audio Rec driver. And make sure that you don't download and install the QREC app. So do not install QREC. Don't do it. All right, so the next step is to connect the dongle, and I usually use this Sonnet dongle, and this one is supported by Waves and it works fine, but I mean, it's a bit pricey. We also quite often use the Ugreen dongle. I will have a link to this one in the description, and this basically works just as fine. It's not supported by Waves, but it's like 1/10 of the price from the Sonnet. So today, why not just use the Ugreen dongle? Right, so we connect this to one of the Soundgrid ports and to the computer. Then we need to open the Soundgrid driver control, the app that we just installed. So from the list, you will choose the dongle. I happen to know that it's this one. Then we will move on to the console, and in here we will use this one. Since I've used this one before, I have named it Ugreen number 10. So I will choose this one. And now we have a connection between the console and the computer. All right, next step is to start up the recording software. I use Reaper. And in the audio settings, make sure you select Waves Soundgrid. And then I actually have a template, so let's start from this one. And this template will be available to download, link in the description. And in my template, I have first these orange channels, 24 channels, and these are labeled Ionic 24, 1 through 24. So these channels will be patched from the Ionic 24 box. Next, there is 16 channels of these pink ones called Ionic 16. These will get the signal from the Ionic 16 box. And then there are 16 more channels called Classic 1 through 16, and these will be patched from, not surprisingly, the Classic. All right, so let's patch the inputs to the computer. Let's go to the patch tab, and well, you could of course use the direct outputs, but the thing is that as of right now, if you use the direct output, the signal will come post polarity flip, post trim, and post the mute button. And if you're using this for virtual sound check, that's not really what you want. You want the signal directly from the preamp. So let's instead use the device to device. So here I have this one called Rack. This is the Ionic 24. Then we have another one called Drums. This is the Ionic 16. And then I have the Classic. So let's select the Rack one, and up here the Ugreen 10, which is the recording computer, and then just make a 1-to-1 patch for the 24 analog inputs. Then let's move on to the drums. Then this will come from 25 through 40. like so. And then let's use the classic. This will be from 41 and up to 56, like so. And you can, of course, patch any of the inputs of any of the stage boxes to any channel in the computer. The reason I do it like this is because of speed. This is super quick to set up, and I can just hit record and start tracking what comes from the stage. I can then later on start labeling things, but right now I can just hit record and start collecting data. All right, so let's try this. I have a mic, so let's plug this into, say, number 8 on the Ionic 24. And if we have a look here, we have signal coming into Ionic 24 number 8. So it actually works. And hopefully everything else works. Let's do Ionic 16 number 10. Here we go. Yes, Ionic 16 number 10. So with a straight one-to-one patch, it's very easy to just get started. So if you're just recording, this is all you have to do. Everything is set up and working. If you are using this for virtual sound check, there are a few more steps. All right, so I have loaded a session so we can make sure that we get the signals from the computer to the classic. So the most common way to do this is to use the B inputs for the virtual sound check. And we have a user button right here called Flip AB. So let's hit this one, and this will flip all the inputs to the B input. Right now we have no sound because I have not made the patch from the computer to the classic yet. And if you have used my template and you have not rearranged things, you can easily see that we have, for instance, keyboards. These are on channel 29 and 30 in the project, and this means that they will come out on 29 and 30 in the Soundgrid. So let's see if that's true. Let's use Ugreen 29 and 30, and we should have some keyboards. Here we go. So you can do the patching up here, or you can go to the patch page, make sure that you select input B and get the signal from the Ugreen. Right now, I think the drums are 1-to-1, so let's do like this, and we should have some drums. So this, of course, looks quite easy when I just set everything up, and that's because I've obviously tested all of this before I turn on the camera. In real life, it's not always this easy. There are a few pitfalls, and the first one, I think, is the dongle. This Sonnet dongle works very well most of the time. However, if you use the new Mac Neo, that one does not have a Thunderbolt port. This is a Thunderbolt dongle, so this dongle will not work with the Mac Neo. But however, the Ugreen dongle will. We have successfully recorded 128 channels on the Neo using the Ugreen dongle without any errors, clicks or pops or nothing. The point is, you need to test, try things, see what works with your setup. It's not really a one solution for everything. Another thing we have noticed a few times is that when we set all of this up, we get a lot of errors and it just keeps ticking. That has happened, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. We don't really know why, other than it's connected to the session file. So if we get a lot of errors, it's just ticking. If we choose to go to the show and make a new file, everything works. I can then select an old file, everything works. And when I go back to the the file that did not work, it's still not working. So there's something with certain session files. I don't know why, it's very rare, but if it happens, our solution has been to just make a new session file, sadly. If you have installed QREC, which you shouldn't, but if you have it, then in order to get all of this working, every time you need to start QREC, you need to select the dongle you are using. So we are using this one, and just wait for it to sync up, and then close QREC. If you still have some troubles, just reboot the console, reboot the computer, and it should work. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will do my best to help out. All right, take care.